You're listening to Unlocked Your Career by Design with Samantha Florence, Fortune 100 executive, billion-dollar business leader, and founder of Powerhouse Code. Here, you'll discover how to build authority, attract opportunities, and lead with authentic presence. If you're ready to claim your spotlight and step into your next level, you're in the right place. Let's unlock your career by design. How long have you been waiting for that next step? One of the things that I get often from high performing professionals that are feeling like they're stuck, like they're stagnating, like they're not growing anymore, like if they're doing the same thing over and over and over again, is that feeling that, well, my manager told me I need to wait one more year. Or I need to wait until a position opens. Or you might be telling yourself once there's new leadership, then you will be seen, then you will be promoted. Now, I know you know that I don't need to tell you that it simply doesn't work that way. The waiting game is a way that they're dangling the carrot just in front of your nose to keep you sharp, to keep you motivated, to keep you hungry for that promotion, for progressing, for growing, for making more impact. But behind that waiting game are empty promises. You know how many times I have seen the waiting game blow up in people's face. Let me give you a few examples. Example number one. There was once a high performing professional. She was a director and she was on the list as high performing, right? So she was on a path to getting promoted. She felt like she was stagnating. So let's call her Sally. It makes it easier. So Sally felt like she was stagnating and therefore she decided to apply for a role. It was a lateral move, a director position. Her VPs told her to get out of that application process because the optics didn't look good. I feel like I should dedicate a whole episode to the optics. Okay, I digress. I'm digressing. So she applied for the role, which was a lateral move, and her VPs advised her to pull back from the application because it didn't look good. They were working for her on a senior director position. And if she applied for the director position, it simply didn't work. So she pulled back her application because the VPs told her, they promised her really that they would look out for her. Instead, both of them got moved, made their own promotion. So the VPs made their own promotion to a different department and left her hanging because all of a sudden they weren't the one calling the shots anymore. And the new VPs that came in didn't know her. And she had to start from scratch with proving herself and making her on the way to the list. And so the waiting game in this case backfired. So I always say, have a plan B. Don't wait for your manager. Don't wait for new leadership to come in the hopes that things will change, because those are empty promises. Unless you have it on paper that by this and this date, you will get promoted, it's an empty promise. And I want to be clear that usually people have good intentions. So if they say just wait 1 more year or wait until there's a movement, they usually mean it well. What I'm warning you against is that in many cases, your managers, your leaders who have good intentions are operating in a corporate system. They're operating in a system with rules and regulations and a lot of red tape and bureaucracy. And as soon as one person shifts, the whole power dynamic changes. And therefore, the waiting game can feel like an empty promise. So just to be clear that I'm saying that the intention is usually there to help you get promoted, to help you progress, to help you get a good role. However, if it's not black and white in paper, it's purely dependent on the person in the role, and that person can change, and then all of a sudden it doesn't go ahead anymore. So going back to the waiting game, a waiting game is not a strategy. A strategy is if you have black and white on paper that by this and this date you will get promoted, you will progress. Otherwise, it can backfire on you, like the example that I just gave, that this person, Sally, was asked, not really asked, told to pull back from the application process because it would not look good for the optics to hand her a promotion after. And then the leaders changed, power dynamics changed, and she ended up, that was 5 years ago, and she's still not a senior director. Whereas if she had continued applying for the role she was in, she might have now be a senior director because it was a different set of leaders. It could be important to understand because I often hear from very talented directors, senior directors, oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until a spot opens up or they promised me a role, et cetera, et cetera. People can leave. People can get fired in the organization. There can be a hiring freeze, all the things. Okay. So just make sure that you have it black and white. And if you don't have it black and white, that you're actively working on your strategy to get you to where you want to be. Because that waiting game, do not rely on it to get you where you want to be. Okay. So as I share with you this example where it backfired, what is one area in your career where you have been waiting and either waiting on someone to hand you a project, to hand you an assignment, to get you promoted, or you might be waiting on some other external factor, a hiring freeze to be lifted, for example. And then what would it look like if you took a more active approach in your own career instead of leaning back and waiting because thinking you don't have control over your career? Instead of that, flipping it and saying, you know what? I am done waiting. I'm actively going to take steps into getting to where I want to be. Because here's the misconception that many people have, right? The misconception is once I get a promotion, once I get a title, once I'm officially in the new assignment, in the new role, then I will start acting that way. For example, if you're a director, you want to get to senior director, you might be thinking consciously or unconsciously that, hey, I'm a director now. Therefore, I'm going to act and behave like a director. And once I am recognized, rewarded, and handed that senior director promotion and title, then I'm going to start acting and behaving because then I have the title, I have the title gives you the influence and all the things. Doesn't work that way. So, coming back to the question, where are you currently waiting in your career? Are you waiting on someone? Are you waiting on some other external factor for the economy to get better, for the hiring freeze to get lifted, for more roles to open up, for leadership to change? What is it? Are you waiting to get another degree? That's also one I hear a lot. Waiting to get another degree because once you have the degree, then you'll have the knowledge. That's all BS. What is one thing you can start doing today to get you closer to your next level? Because that's where you want to be, in your next level. So imagine what would be different for you once you take back your power. Hey, manager that's telling me to wait, I get my power back. Hey, company that I'm waiting to lift the hiring freeze, give me my power back. Hey, economy that's in a rough shape, give me my power back. And then once you start collecting your power and you put it in your energy as to I am actively working towards my next step, regardless of the external factors, see how quickly things start to change for you. And so my first question was, where are you currently waiting in your career? And I actually want an answer to that question. So drop it in the comments under this episode or DM me. I want to know, where are you currently waiting in your career? Because so many people are waiting on their managers, on their leaders, on the economy, on their hiring freeze to be lifted, on better roles to get posted on LinkedIn. Where are you currently waiting? Question number one. Question number two. Where can you take your power back? And with that power that you have taken back, turn it into energy that you can have own control of action and steps you can take to get you closer to your goal. What is one thing you can do this week to get you closer to where you want to be? And your brain might be going, I can possibly do anything. It's not my decision. It's some leadership decision, yada, 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 yada. That is your brain telling you BS. And I've talked about this in previous episodes. If you are a leader and you're listening to this podcast, tells me you are a leader. Where can you be proactive? Where can you take decisions? Where can you take things into your own hand instead of waiting on somebody else or waiting on external factor? So I'm not joking when I say I want to hear the answer to that, because that's accountability for you. I can be your accountability partner. Drop me a note beneath this episode if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or DM me. I want to hear where are you waiting and what is one action that you're taking without being dependent on someone else. Because remember in the last episode or 2 episodes ago, I don't know, look it up. I said, what are the 3 biggest gaps that C-suite executives tell me is that their people don't take ownership. So where can you take ownership today of your career and getting to where you want to be getting? Instead of relying on all the things and everybody else. I want to know. I can be your accountability partner. And then the third thing I'm going to give you as a bonus, right? Because people tend to behave in similar ways. So if you're waiting, that means that many other people are waiting. They're waiting for the same exact things that you might be waiting on. Economy to get better, hiring freeze to be lifted, a new organization to be done with, new leadership to come in, somebody else to move so you can get a job. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Now, if you're thinking that way, everybody else is thinking that way. Now imagine if you're the one who disrupts that pattern, like snap it and say, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to start taking different action. Now, there's not many people who are thinking that way because I've said this in previous episodes as well. People love to stay in what is known and what is certain. And stepping outside of that square, outside of that box, disrupting the pattern, breaking the stick of certainty and no change, people don't do that. So if you're the one who is doing that, who is accepting this challenge, to step outside of your comfort zone and take ownership and actively, proactively, on your own terms, start moving in the direction that you want. And everybody else is staying, oh, I have to wait. It's them. It's not me. BS, BS, BS. What changes for you and what becomes possible for you? When you are the only person who is showing ownership, who is showing that you are proactive, while the rest is leaning back and waiting for somebody else to open the way for them, while you are opening it yourself. See the difference? Again, I'm not joking when I say I can be your accountability partner. I would love to be your accountability partner. Drop a comment below the episode, DM me or email me and let me know where are you waiting and what are you going to do to take ownership of your own path. And your brain is going to be, but Sam, you don't understand. In my organization, things are really different. And it's not me that takes the decision. And I'm dependent on so many people, so many processes. BS. Everything starts with a decision. What is your decision going to be? You're going to lean back and put your career and your future in somebody else's hands, in the economy's hands? Or are you going to take me up on the challenge and say, you know what? Coming week, I am going to take one step into the direction that brings me closer to what I want. And I'm going to show that I take control and ownership of my career, my destiny, and my future. Because that's a signal to your leadership, to the universe, for crying out loud, that you are an action taker. You take ownership. And then all the other people who are waiting for their chance, for somebody to tap them on the shoulder and say, "You're ready. Now we see that you're ready." They're going to be like last in line because you're taking action. You're leading the way. You're showing up as a leader. All right. I am waiting for your DM, for your comment. Let me know, where are you waiting and what action are you taking? I'm dead serious. I guarantee your response. Okay? I dare you. I dare you. I challenge you. Take me up on the challenge. Let's see what happens. See you in the next one. You have been listening to Unlocked Your Career by Design with Samantha Flores. If today's episode sparked something, here's your next step. Follow the show and leave a 5-star review. That's how we reach more ambitious women ready to break barriers. And if you know a colleague or friend who needs this, share it with them, because lifting one woman lifts us all. Until next week, keep owning your spotlights.